Welcome to the Rolling Out Design and Dialogue. This is Own It, how to design your own fashion identity and brand empire. We have a very special guest, as you can see,
Mhm,
Tracy Evans, Meow and Barks Boutique. She's the baddest, world's greatest
mhm.
fashionista boutique owner. As I mentioned, Meow and Barks Boutique designer and stylist, the baddest in the game. So her world-class fashion brand, an empire that she's built from the ground up, off the muscle, is Meow Barks Boutique, and it's one of the hottest spots for women. Um, being frequented nationwide and even around the world. People are going to meowbarksboutique.com, and she's had hot spots in Jacksonville as well as Atlanta, Buckhead, pop-ups nationwide. Women who have gone to Essence Fest
Yes.
throughout the last decade, you all have seen that long line in the convention center, and that's because of Meow Barks Boutique. She's been at New York Fashion Week, Texture on the Runway. She's been a fashion correspondent,
Mhm.
CBS Atlanta, NBC
Ooh.
Miami, and got to represent Duval, in the Channel 4 morning show news. And her styles have been slayed by Cardi B, Lala Anthony, Niecy Nash, Marlo Hampton, Yandy Smith, and even more. So I know those stylists reach out to you and they get your styles, and I know in some situations they've gone to some of the most celebrated artists. And I won't drop all the names, but I'll say these ladies have been getting information when they connect with Miss Tracy. So without further ado, Tracy, thank you so much. This is going to be a super dope dialogue. Own it, how to design your own fashion brand empire and identity. And today you're just going to learn from Tracy how to create, your own fashion identity and how to really build a successful fashion brand. So thank you so much, Tracy, for being here. It's so good to connect with you.
And I'm so happy to be here. As you can tell, I'm over here blushing. You have all the history on me on Barks, Marcella. So I'm very excited. And once again, thanks for including me in on this conversation.
And viewers, you all can see the boutique, the Meow Bark Boutique's vibes in the back. Those are some of the hottest styles of the season. So I'm sure she'll be getting into that. But yeah, let's jump into it, Tracy. So share with the people, your what inspired you to start your own fashion brand, and how did you go about designing your own signature world class fashion brand identity?
For me, fashion, it's like a family affair. It's in my blood. Like my family is big on the on fashion. I'm the last of eight. So keep in mind, I've seen eight people, grown people, live out and communicate through fashion. My mom would often tell us, like, you use fashion to communicate to people how you know, don't necessarily worry about what people think, but you must pay attention to what you tell them, and you can do that through fashion. So coming up, you go places, people compliment you. And that's basically what was happening with me. And because I'm such a loving person, like truly, um I wanted to share that love. And I would see these people give me these compliments, but then they would also want to know, like, where did you get that? Like, how can I get that? So from there, I was like, let me hone in on this and see if I can create a brand and connect these people and allow for them to express themselves with fashion. So I would definitely say it's family related. And I feel like it's a purpose. It's like one of my purposes here with God. I don't feel like it's the only one, but it is one of them that I'm pretty good at and very confident with.
Wow. And you mentioned something, share the love. And there's this entrepreneurial spirit that you embody, your family. I know your parents started, one of the, most celebrated construction companies, and, of those, siblings, so many of you all are artists, and creatives, entrepreneurs, straight know how to hustle, know exactly how to, earn and more importantly, share that love. So that family love, you've shared. And one place that I've had the pleasure of seeing it, in addition to inside Meow Barks Boutique, is Essence Fest. So
Mm.
when we talk about cultural influences and I'll even share a story. But Tracy,
Oh
you've done
boy.
Essence Fest for how many years
I think we're going
now?
on our this year will be our 10th year. We did have 2 years off with COVID, but this will be our 10th year. And I remember going to Essence Fest 10 years ago. We set up just like in a hotel room at the W Hotel, and we were just trying to figure things out. Like, how are we going to get the people in? And once again, this was before Instagram had taken over. Facebook was definitely there. Instagram was there, but it was not like the know all. And we just set up in a hotel room, brought that boutique feel. And we were like, okay, we're going to get outside of the hotel and try to get everyone in. Of course, we're going to do some digital marketing here and there, but we didn't have the numbers. We didn't know how to facilitate there. And then what do you know? Essence had a contract with House of Blues, and they were selling Pepsi, and Coke was the sponsor of Essence Fest. So Essence had to get a new venue, and they got the W Hotel. So for two of the events, it was like the Essence Fest was right across the hall from us. So that's what like just built like this great foundation and built like the confidence. Like Meow Barks and Essence Fest goes together. Like those are my people. I can get to my people there. So yeah, that's how we made that happen.
And it is one of the most frequented spots, in the convention. If anyone who's been at Essence Fest, there's a vending within the convention center, and it's and all of the events. That's where a lot of the thought leadership and a lot of celebrities before the music and the turn up happens.
Right.
During the day is there, but Meow Barks Boutique, your booth is popping. I remember there was one year I was there, and it was so many ladies in a line. It was, they're pulling at all of your items there, and Nas was doing, and Nas is one of Tracy's, definitely hip hop icons, and so and she
Right.
has this special relationship, that seems on a divine level. And
Cut it out.
her
Cut it
man,
out.
shout out to her man Corey, but it seems like whenever Nas is in town, whenever there's a concert, she's able to get these front row tickets. She's able to get these backstage passes, and see Fred Corey is there with her as well. But it's a hip hop moment, and a lot of love shared. So I remember it was this one time, and Nas was doing this. He was at a pop up, but it was so busy. Tracy was like, I'm not gonna be able to get there. I mean, this line is too long, and these ladies are buying up these maxis. I got to service them, make sure
Right.
they get everything they need for they turn up later on here in New Orleans. So I ended up going, but she was like, make sure when you go that you FaceTime with Nas, and I was like, are you serious? I'm supposed to dap Nas up, you know what I'm saying, bro hug, and it'd be like, yo, by the way, here go check. But to say the least, caught up with Nas, did the FaceTime, they moving and grooving. I'm like, this is a different type of hip hop energy. So,
Definitely.
what's been you're such a hip hop just connoisseur. What's been the impact of the hip hop movement, on fashion, and particularly from your lens?
I think hip hop just gave our generation the green light to pursue whatever it is that was in your soul that you were getting like a inch about, like this could possibly happen. Hip hop like fed my soul. So it's just like through music. I remember getting all of the hip hop magazines. Of course, you had Word Up, but then I got a little sophisticated and was over to the Vibe magazine that was produced by Quincy Jones. And then you had The Source, which was so New York based. So all of those publications, but they always went back to fashion, even from Run DMC with Adidas. Once again, fashion is how, as Black people, we were able to communicate to ourselves. I mean, communicate to others. Like, I know based upon how you dress, so I can kind of get a read on you based upon how you dress, like if you're in my tribe or not, or if you believe in the same things I believe in, or if we're listening to the same music. So fashion has always been like a great communication tool for us. And hip hop has been that for me. It opened up and just once again gave me the green light to go.
Wow. Yes, you embody hip hop to the fullest.
I do,
I'm
I
sure
do.
you got a bar too. You can hit, whatever you need to. But something powerful that you mentioned was that fashion is it's a language. It allows you to communicate. And so as a people, as a culture, we're so expressive in such genius ways beyond just verbal. So this is a way of nonverbal communication on a very powerful level. And when we think about creating a brand, it's ultimately connecting and communicating. So you're able to do that, and you leverage off of culture. You
Right.
leverage off of these great experiences, and Essence Fest is the epitome of Black girl magic. So I want to just ask you, in terms of the movement of Black girl magic, like how has that inspired your entire influence around the trends that you've been able to spark in fashion?
I think the Black Girl Magic movement just gave like Black women the stage. It was like, now we're on stage, like, and everyone is listening. When you say I'm a Black girl with magic, it's like, pay attention to me. I have it going on. So just all of the political movements as far as like within our culture that like really put I'm not going to get too political here, but that Black girl magic, that's just like a mic for Black women. It's like, get on, because when you say it, they are listening to you. So don't play with it. You know, when you say it, you better show them like the best of you.
And it's the Black Girl Magic movement. And I know it's evolved. So
Right.
I know there's other terms here, but it just really captures the magic. And it was parallel with um, this great insight, where the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs have been Black women. So there was that magic transferred into economic empowerment as well. And it also was hand in hand, and you played a very huge role within a movement of, and I'm titling it Black Lives Matter,
Right.
but we experienced years, over this past 10-year period that you talk about, but there have been some very devastating times within our culture. And there was one in particular where there was a back-to-back um, you know, uh, police brutality, tragedy, of two men, Philando Castile and Alton Sterling,
Right.
and communities across the nation, even across the world, were devastated, Black communities. And you used your platform, where you have over 100,000, followers on Instagram, but you used that and made a statement for community leaders, community members, anybody that wanted to get together to come and connect. And from there was a movement created for economic empowerment. It was called Onyx, Movement Group, OMG,
Yes.
and salute to all those in the Jacksonville community that were a part of it. But you were able to step outside of just being a business owner or and a fashion brand, champion, and say, oh, I stand for my culture. I know that we're hurting, and I know that we need solutions. So how have you been able to tie that into your brand, or during that very special time where you were able to bring a community together and bring about some
Right.
resolutions, which is even, there was we called it beef. It was Black each and every Friday. It was a movement to spark, supporting Black owned businesses, and even, creating a lot of initiatives, around that. So um, how does how do those movements in that way uplift the culture, and how do you use your brand to be able to elevate it even more?
I think during those times, that was just me just being vulnerable, just like as a Black woman, with the magic, knowing that as women, we can bring people together. And we just wanted our voices heard. I didn't want anyone to feel alone, like I felt alone during those times. And just with our platform, often what we wear makes a statement. And when you deal with, like, when you start using fashion as a tool to communicate, like, who your tribe is. Like, we have a prototype or profile for each customer. So I know, out of the top 3 profiles that we have, I have one girl, and she is definitely about her community, about her people, and she's about other things too. Like, she loves fashion, she loves to travel, but at the key, like in her heart, it's about her people. And I just felt like I needed to speak up for her. I needed to let her know that I'm here with her and that I see her outside of her making a purchase at my store, outside of her, sending me encouraging words. This was time for me to gather her up and people like her so we can just become a force. So, and whenever you have like a big movement like that, it pushes a surge to support each other. And I think during that
Mhm.
time, that's what we needed.
Yeah, yeah, that's so powerful that you are able to align your brand. And it's authentic to you. You mentioned first that's something that's on your heart as a Black woman,
Right.
as a Black mother, as a Black wife, to see, these incidences, and you've been able to take that, uplift the community, and still find a way to leverage back to a brand, or even product value. You've had teas. You were the first that many of us have seen with the Juneteenth T-shirt,
Oh,
that
definitely.
got that thing jumping several years ago. You
Right.
have for HBCUs, particularly my alma mater, FAMU. There's a staple signature tee you have, FAMU girls hustle harder. And
Right.
that's some. So you really lean in the culture in a way that is very, very empowering. So let me ask, tapping into the fashion piece and the business piece of it, how do
Right.
you balance creativity and innovation with business considerations?
It's now when you say balance, for any budding entrepreneurs out there, I would like to say that it took me a minute to understand balance. And because I'm a visual, at one point, balance to me looked like a seesaw, meaning whatever was up, I was going after it. This is hot, I'm over here, political over here. Like, where am I going? And then finally, being a visual person, I was just like, this feels like I'm on a seesaw. Like, I'm in a pivotal position to pivot my business and to do what I need to do, whether I'm chasing trends or I'm trying to find that what my customer is doing. It just felt like I was on a seesaw. But when I visually put myself on a scale, so when you say balance, I now think of scale. On that right side of that scale is always Tracy and God and my brand. So that definitely having those like key components of being like, no matter what is going on here, no matter what Kim Kardashian is wearing, no matter what Lori Harvey just had on, in vacation in Jamaica with dancing, no matter what is going on, like on this side, we have to make sure that we are staying true to our brand, our startup, and then where we want to end, where we want this journey to end. So I think the balance in this is always weighing, like, because fashion, like, the industry, they value creative ideas, innovation. Like, you want it, you want to be the first, you want to be what's new, you want to be what's hot. But what you don't want to do is be dated. So you don't want to be that
Mm,
girl or that business that is just all over the place. So I think balance is key. And I think how you create balance is just always remember, like, who you are and establishing like what your brand is and sticking true to that. Even though, like, if you're wanting to change that, just make sure like you're careful with the directions that you actually make with your brand.
mm. Wow. And you know what? You mentioned you are unapologetic about sharing how God plays not
Oh,
only a role, it is the foundation of you, your brand, and every single thing that you do. And I joke, I've joked with you sometimes. I say, Nas has God's son across the belly. You got a tattoo somewhere that's God's daughter. Because you really embody that. And I think you've had a divine level of success that shows that. And when you're gifted in that way, and when you do have that type of connection,
right.
you're able to bring out your genius. And one genius that I've seen, I would love for you to kind of share with the rolling out audience, how you do this, but you have this, and you talked about your this visual. That's a power. Like a lot of times, school conditions us to think that the intelligence is in the logic. How do you pass
Right.
this test and do your math? But we have, especially in our culture, we have visual genius. We have physical genius in the way we can move and dance. We have verbal genius, our Barack Obamas, Michelle Obamas, and how they, we have so many other geniuses. And you have a genius for eyeing a person. I notice because when it's birthday time for my lady or it's Christmas time, I can bring you, when you talked about your personas, you said, there are, and that's great for everyone to capture, to make sure that you have a unique, customer target avatar. How do you use this genius ability to eye people? Because I can bring you my mom, I can bring you my lady, I can bring my sisters, and you automatic. If you hadn't seen them, you saw them and said, "Oh, in 5 seconds, I know exactly what they need." Boom. If it was, you already know them. When I get them the gifts, and they're like, "Oh, Marcellus, this is so great. You know me to a T," and I'm like, "No, Tracy knows you, and she can eye exactly what you need." So, what is that ability that you're able to eye anybody, especially women, and be able to match a fashion product, with an occasion that they're, going on, whether it's a Christmas party, whether it's a romantic vacay, or so on.
Okay. I think that it definitely, like, the genius thing behind Meow and Barks and Tracy is God. Connecting myself with God, allowing for him to be the nucleus, moving that I was sent here to do this in each and every styling consultation with a customer. I feel honored. Like this, it was written, as Nas would say, for me to be here to style you, to take care of your mom. And then I started with brick and mortar. So meeting women, touching, feeling, being able to connect with them. And then also it goes back, and I'm being honest, it goes back to being loved. Like, I come from a big family. I was loved very well. And I'm able to love very well. And because I want to love my customers, I want to give them the best. I want them to go in the room and set it on fire. I want, when you give a gift, for them to be like, "Oh, Marcella's ba ba ba," just because I just want to share the love with that I have with others. So I would definitely say with God and love, and just being intentional and being obedient. Like, if you like in treating every situation as if it was God sent, like there's a reason why you're here. Let me take care of you. And then it's like, let me proceed. Like, God, what's next for me after this client? So I think taking that as what has set me aside, and then you can grow this love. I think sometimes I often say, like, love, fashion has never broken my heart. Like, I love fashion. Like, it can do no wrong. Like, I can find peace there. I can find joy there. So I just want to share it with everyone. So I think that's why I'm good with it. Between God, love, and being obedient and intentional, that's the success of Meow and Barks.
Okay, we got some Meow and Barks Tabernacle popping up.
I know, right? Let me get a little mystery going on.
Some experience in the near future, but that is great. So let's speak to the those that are here that are aspiring entrepreneurs and they want to start a fashion brand empire, just as you have done with Meow and Barks Boutique, and they either have one, that they're having challenges with, or they want to start it, but they're afraid because they know it's going to be something that's going to hit them. So let's jump right into what have been some challenges that you experienced in building your fashion brand empire that you think are common to the realm of challenges and adversity that anyone beginning a fashion brand will experience, and how did you overcome them?
Okay, so I can go textbook on this. So I can give you like an ebook, or I can give you what you would get out of Google, or I can come like from the heart and give you like the rundown of truly some of the things I've run into. I remember I would probably say there's two levels on this. For that girl that wants to know if this is her, for her, if this is her purpose, that's a different route. And then for the girl that wants to maybe get into fashion for extra income and things of that nature as a business, there's a different route there. So if you just want to see if fashion is for you, to get into this fashion game, I would suggest for that girl that just wants to make money on the side, maybe moonlighting after work, you want to play, I would suggest starting like small and accessories and things of that nature. Because what I learned is when you start with what your end is, like what you want your brand to be, your customer is not there yet. Like you haven't established that customer base yet. Right. So I remember starting out and I had all this inventory, but my customer didn't know me. They didn't love me. They didn't know the brand. So I would definitely suggest starting small. And what I mean by small is like with accessories. Accessories is a great starting point because there's no sizing. So everyone can wear a pair of earrings, no matter if they're a size 2, 8, 12, 14, 15, 16. They can wear a nice pair of earrings. And then from there, based upon the earrings that your customers select, then you can build her wardrobe, because that's the main thing. Like if you want to get to the fashion, start with the accessories, start with what I call the small talk, because once again, I view fashion as like my communication. Like I often say how you build a paragraph, put words to build a paragraph, that I can do that with fashion. Like that's how I can play this thing. So I would definitely say starting small and then just building and forming that customer is something I wish I would have done in the beginning. Now, for that seasoned person that's in their mind, like they're like, I was born to do this thing. Fashion is for me. This is what I will be doing once I leave here. Like, no doubt, when the casket drop, it's going to be some shoes and some dresses dropping in there. Give visible, like God sent me to dress you. If you are that person, I would strongly suggest starting with like establishing a team, and you definitely need a consultant. You need someone that can forecast for you, because that is so important. So whether it's an internship, which I've had a few girls to intern with me to proceed on in this fashion world, whether it's an internship or hiring a consultant such as Marcellus, which is how we connected, because I hit a road where I could no longer do it for Meow and Barks. I couldn't come up with the vision. I didn't have the numbers. I didn't know how to get the reports. So it's very important to establish the team first, get some forecasting done, definitely create those plans, and then proceed. So two different levels of starting into this thing. I remember Marcellus saving me. Okay. So once again, that end thought of what you want your business to be, starting out in the beginning, that's how I was. So I remember paying for a magazine advertisement with one of the magazines here in Jacksonville. I just wanted to be in this magazine because it's so beautiful. So during that time, the ads were like $900. And that was a lot for me. I was like, $900, I can put that into my business and grow my business, But I was like, I'm going to advertise for Jacksonville Magazine and pay this $925. And I think they were like quarterly. So, once they lock you in, you know how this advertising thing, Marcellus, they don't just get you for one issue. Like, you are now locked in. And I remember
they start with the accessories first, and then they build the whole advertising wardrobe.
Right. They're starting with the accessories, and I'm here with this full wardrobe. So I was just thinking, like, we put all of this money into like the photo shoot. The models were beautiful, the hair, everything. It was on point with, their lines. Everything was beautiful. And it was published, and I was waiting for the people to come in the door. No one was coming. And I couldn't understand that. I was just like, I don't understand. And then, I signed on, I did it again. Well, let's change it up. And what I learned from there is like, there's different forms of marketing. And most of the time, magazines are for branding, to get your brand out, to let people know that you're established. And then there's marketing to get the dollar. So once I established like how you get the dollar and marketing, I was like, that's where I'm at, over there where I can get the money. But had I had Marcellus prior to running into that wall, I could have definitely saved some money, and definitely some time and some heartbreak. Like, no, I didn't want to stop, but I beat myself up probably for like every time, because I signed a contract for like 4 issues. And I was like, after the first issue, the money didn't come. Second issue, I'm beating myself up. Third issue, I'm beating myself up. Fourth issue, I'm beating myself up until I got out of the contract. So the mental warfare was just killing me on that. So definitely get a team, get someone that can forecast and kind of tell you what's going on out here so you don't make those mistakes. And normally the consultant fee that you would pay someone is normally the money you would save. Like I could have, like, it was like what 30, do the math, 3,200. It was over $3,000 I invested with them. And I could have hired someone to say, no, that's not what you want to do if you want to make money with this advertisement. But if you want to brand and show how beautiful your business is and, live, this journey of whatever, then do that. Yeah.
And that's such a complex predicament for entrepreneurs, particularly out of our community, because you do have brand awareness, and
Right.
we see, companies that are able to do really big commercials, and they could do the advertisements like you said, because they start off with like this big trust, that's they've inherited, or they start off with this huge loan or whatever it is. So they got money. So it's like when there's a big budget and it's like, oh, I need customers. It's like, yeah, I can put this out because I have this budget. I may even have an investor that's like, yeah, you need to be doing this for like 18 months,
Right.
to get to the next level. So they're like, I just got to spend and acquire the customer, But oftentimes we're in a position where even though brand awareness is so important, also is the first of the month,
Right.
and
Yes.
that inventory, that entrepreneur, like yourself and many other watching, have, that doesn't pay the bills, so you got to move that, you can't give the light person, some stilettos or, the food from your food truck. They want that money. So you have to find a way to build a communication style with your audience in which you're servicing them in a way where they're like, I'm getting a great experience, a great product. I want this brand as a part of my brand, and here's the money for it. It's an even exchange, and that exchange, and it helps to grow, our ecosystem of businesses. But we do have to get to that dollar way sooner than most others, and knowing exactly what happened. That's why your business is so incredible, because you built this social media, model and presence and communication. You have email, directly with your, audience. You have pop-ups that you do consistently, and you have all these interactions, digital as well as brick and mortar, where they have been, of value to be able to build that communication that generates a return on your investment. And it builds more and more and more. So you're able to build on what you say, you begin with the end in mind, but you have to have those right things in alignment with it. So that is dope. Let's talk about personal style, because you are well renowned for your personal style. You are. I can't wait to see you walk through the Met Gala and shut and break the internet, because I know that's what you're capable of doing with all the things that you do. But how would you speak to the importance of authenticity and individuality in creating a signature, successful fashion brand?
I think like being transparent, that's how like you win at this, because you're going to have ups and downs in life, and you have ups and downs in business. So when things get down, like your customer has to know like who they are dealing with. So being very transparent has always covered and carried us. I remember at one time, and Marcellus, you remember this. I remember doing Channel 4, and I would come on with my professional voice. And then I had one of my clients call me and was like, I don't know her. I don't know who was just on television. Like, that's not the Tracy that I talk with when I come into the store, right? So I was just like, okay, this is getting weird because within our culture, we're multifaceted. Like I can be whoever you want me to be. If you want me to be Michelle Obama, I'm Michelle Obama. You want to be Carisha, I'm Carisha. And not that Carisha is here and Michelle is here. They are right here the same within our culture, right? So I can just slip and slide out of, look at me with the Florida reference.
Okay. I see you.
Right. I can just kind of go back and forth. So I think with having more conversations with my clients, they're able to like really know Tracy and know that when I put on that professional tone, I'm talking about business. But when it's time for us to have some fun here with fashion and, get it on with the slang, and we go back into our hip hop role and dibble and dabble there. In Essence Fest, we talk about Essence Fest. We're going to do it there. And being transparent has allowed for me to not box my customer in. Like she is not one person and she is not one way. She is enjoying the beauty of our culture. And I think that is something that going into the future that we want to share more about Meow and Barks and share more about Tracy is that I believe in like the beauty of being a Black woman. Like I can be whoever you want me to be. Like if I'm going to the Erykah Badu concert, I can slide into my boho feel. If I'm going to Beyonce, which plug, we do have a Renaissance collection coming that we are working on right now. When our girls go to see the Beyonce, that they are giving all of the feels. So that's just important to me, just about just being honest and being okay with yourself and being okay that people don't understand in the beginning, but as long as you stay true to yourself, they will catch on. So yeah, just having those conversations. It's important. It's so important. But I could do better. Like I could open up. One of the things I think I want to in the future is to share like the personal relationship I have with God, with my clients too. Now, the ones who come into the store at one time prior to COVID, shut everything down, and we've just been rocking and rolling online outside of our pop-ups. But prior to COVID, like Meow and Barks and this location here in San Marco is like a ministry almost. Like I could feel people coming in, I could see the hurt, I could see the anxiety, and just a small conversation, just offering a comforting word so they can circle back and get to God, because there's a reason why you're here. It's a reason why I can pick up on who you are and what you're going through. So maybe I can circle you back and build your confidence and your faith in God and letting you know that he did hear you to the point where he sent you somewhere and she was able to deliver a word to you to get you back to him so he can get you to where you got to go. So I definitely want to share more of that with my online customer, but it's trying to find a balance. I often tell God, he tells us he's a jealous God. And I was like jealous. I was like, I don't know if I want to kind of share like how I navigated mood and have created this phenomenal relationship with him where it gets formal when I pray, but it also gets really wordy and fun when I just simply talk to him. So I would definitely say being transparent. And when you're transparent and as we evolve and we grow, and when I say grow, I mean when we get more wisdom, when we've lived and we've seen some things, and then God comes in and bless you with vision, which I think I have an 18-year-old son. And oh my goodness.
What's up, Takari?
I know,
Got
right?
a graduation popping off.
Right.
Sooner
Right.
than later.
I'm like, look at this. He is just growing up. But I think I'm just gonna say, I think moms, you get like a level of wisdom and vision once you have a child that I certainly did not have prior when I was out here single, living my best life without, and I'm not gonna say single, I'm gonna just say childless, living my best life. So there's just levels here, and I think like we sometimes don't get on the stage and announce them, like the wisdom that we receive from God. So definitely more of just like how I've curated this beautiful relationship that I have with God. I would like to share that more.
Mm. There's something really special about what you do with Meow Barks Boutique because of this special connection to the Most High, is you're able to understand this oneness amongst people, but especially women. So
Right.
I can only imagine how when you talk about the challenges, start off with the accessories because it's a large task to cover. You incorporating when you're purchasing, the styles and designing, you're keeping in mind the whole diversity of a woman,
Right.
size, occasions, roles that they may be in, and all of the numerous roles that a woman has. So you said
Right.
you got the Young Miami and Oprah in the same
Yes.
one, plus Beyonce, Rihanna, and Felicia Rashad. So like that's
Clear.
to be able to have a mastermind around being able to service a woman so dynamic, and to be honest, a black woman, that dynamic and that diverse within herself as well as within this culture and community, and once again they're being anchored in this connection with God that mothers may have on a different level as well, and women in general. So can you share, from a spiritual perspective, a time when you had to make a difficult business decision and for your fashion brand, Miana Barks Boutique, and you had to rely on that spiritual wisdom to be able to pull through?
Right. So I'm gonna quickly go over to I think it was back in 2017 we had Hurricane Irma that hit Jacksonville. And oh my goodness, we're like one street over because once again when I established my business, ladies, I was going for what it looked like at the end. So we're in like a little shishi poo poo area in Jacksonville, San Marco. I'm one street over from the water. I'm like, oh, I'm going to give Black women this ultimate shopping experience. They're going to walk in here and think that, like, oh, this is not how back then. So we're talking about 12 years ago, how Black businesses look down south. Like we were going to shop with the best of the best, or at least be in a better area to shop. Well, I'm one street over from the river. Didn't know it was like flood area over here. Irma comes. We're in, me and the girls here. I think we at that time it was like five of us. We're up in New York Fashion Week, living our best life, having a pop-up shop with Marlo Hampton of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, which Marcellus, the guru, facilitated, made that come together. So we're up in New York. Meanwhile, like the store's flooding here. So we get here, lost inventory, lost. Oh my goodness. We had to, that was a really hard decision. And just to go into it, our landlord, the owner of the building, was like, we cannot and will not fix it. They did not have flood insurance. And of course, we didn't have flood insurance because it had never flooded and because it's also so expensive. It was something we didn't even look into. We didn't even think about.
And
So
many people even watching. There was a national picture, that went out, around Hurricane Irma, and it was a Jacksonville street that was flooded. If anybody walking through it, it would be up to their chest, and that was the street that you're on. That was San Marco. And so people were calling and like, wow, what's going on in Jacksonville? Um, that was a very, yes. So I just want to give people
the
the
visual.
overall picture of what the visual, which is so that visual there. If search Hurricane Irma, it's a good chance you may find the flood that was very high with the street that Tracy's on, the Meow Barks Boutique. So go
Yeah, they
ahead,
were like
continue.
the canoes, and I was just like, oh, but yeah, our landlord is like, we will not fix the building, but you guys want out, you can leave. And I was just like, what in the world? But we automatically, it was like, I know what my end is, so I know the end. And the end doesn't look like this. And because I know what the end looks like, because God has given me the vision, like we're not stopping here. So I think they're just realizing like, okay, you can rebuild. And we did. We had to actually redo. We had to tear all of the walls out, rebuild. And it was hard because this is not like my physical location. We're leasing this spot, but we we got back rolling. Immediately as soon as we announced that we were affected by the hurricane, we were popping up at another business right around the corner. So we were able to keep our business moving and grooving, sort of say, and just having to rebuild. That was just a hard time, but we worked through that. And then here comes like our great opportunity to now be in the town center, St. John's Town Center here in Jacksonville, you know, Shishi Poo Poo area. Now, this is the real Shishi Poo Poo now, y'all. We're out here now with the likes of Tiffany and Co. We got Louis Vuitton. We're across the street from the cheesecake. I'm telling my girls, we're next door to PF Chang's. Just pull up. You're going to see me next door to PF Chang's. Like, and now keep in mind, when I first started Meow and Barks, I was moonlighting. So it was like a tailoring shop on the north side of Jacksonville, Edgewood. Love that community in that space. But I was telling my customers, pull up to the chicken spot. So I done went from telling y'all to pull up to the chicken spot to telling my customers pull up from PF Chang's and Cheesecake Factory. And then here comes COVID. And I'm like, what is this? I just rebuilt from Irma. We're trying to progress. This is what the future looks like. You know, my customer, that Black girl, now will be able to come to the mall and find something for her, not just like her husband and her kids, because Black women, that's how it is. Sometimes we can go to the mall here and there with the big box stores and find something, but we're always like shopping specialty stores. So to be able to bring a specialty store that's so culturally driven like Meow and Barks to over yonder was just like a big thing. And then here comes COVID. And honestly, I did not know how to move. And God just came in and he's like, I got you. Like, you're going to let everything come up on its own accord. You've planted some seeds. We're going to make some things happen. Like, this is your time to watch your harvest. And we're going to see what comes up. Like, we don't know. I don't know if I've been sowing good seed. Like, people tell you sow seeds, but you don't know if the seeds are good or bad, if they're going to harvest. Like, are they going to harvest this generation, or is this something, God, that Kari's going to, you know, harvest? Like, tell me, because right now I need to know if this harvest is for now, you know. But God just showed up and showed out. And you know, it's just like ups and downs in business. And I don't think the entire world, I know, you know, we went from lockdown for 3 weeks to 2 years. I don't think things will ever be the same, but God is the same. And that same God that took me through Irma, that brought me through COVID, is going to protect me and take care of me of whatever downs that are coming my way. And because I have history, like at this point, I feel like I'm like a specialist out here in disaster preparedness, awareness. Like, I can tell you what it looks like, what's going to happen, like how you take care of yourself. But because he have built that faith, like, I'm not afraid of the future, and I'm not afraid of anything that comes my way, because things happen, is what I learned during that. But it's up to you to decide if they're happening, and then are they happening to you? So the flood happened. It didn't happen to me because it didn't destroy me. I wouldn't be here. And COVID wasn't sent to destroy me because I'm still here. So during those times when things are down and you don't know, you can always like really soul search and find out, like, is it here to destroy you? And if it's not here to destroy you, move forward and carry on.
That is a mindfulness masterclass, because that's the root of mindfulness. My sister, shout out to Veronica, who is a doctor in psychology, but you know, her specialty is mindfulness, and it's always, you are the observer. You know, your higher state of being is not what you're feeling or experiencing. So observe that, oh, I feel this way, or this is happening, but this isn't me.
Right.
You know, in many cases, it has nothing to do with me, you know, so you can move, like you said, move accordingly and move on. And there's also, you know, because you're getting in this Meow and Barks boutique tabernacle, you know, you're dropping some gems, you're preaching way louder than I'm saying amen. But, you know, one of the, you know, popular scriptures is, you know, faith without works you
That's
know,
good.
and so there is this spiritual connection that you're talking about, and there's this faith, and you have a belief where you can persevere and endure,
Mhm.
but you work like the James Brown of fashion. Like, you
I'll take
really
that.
work the hardest working fashionista in the industry. And you have put up the plywood for your store. You have not slept. I've seen it 48 hours straight preparing for a pop-up essence and so on. And you have made the international calls to find the right vendor for the right type of line that you're bringing in. So speak about that work ethic, because at the end of the day, and there's this funny story of it was a track coach, and he had track athletes, and they were praying, and then he was like, okay, if you pray and run slow, you're gonna lose. So tap in, but then you're gonna have to get it. So
Right.
you know how to get it. And just speak about the work ethic that's required to build a fashion brand empire that we can't duck. And there's some that's the genius behind your genius. You know how to take your faith system, take your visual genius, and put that doggone grind in the
Right.
way that the Evans family and the Freres have done for generations. So speak on that.
I think you said it. It's like attaching myself to legacy. I attach myself to my family. I attach myself to love. I attach myself to God. And I have convinced myself, and I'm being transparent. Like, I love to work. Like, it is what it is. Like, sitting down and not working is not for me. So I tell myself I love to work. I even go in conversation and prayer with God and tell him, thank you for making me this way. Because I just love it. I love sometimes, and I know for a fact that I don't have to work as hard as I do, but it's something that I love and I enjoy doing it. So I don't have a problem with working. And I'm talking about, I really work hard. But these past 2 years from COVID, I have been kind of chilling, and it doesn't feel good. Like, it doesn't feel
or
to not
or
have.
reaping the benefits of what you reaping, what
Right,
you've sown. So when you
right,
put in, these 15 years, of
right.
hard work, yeah, some stuff start growing.
Some stuff start growing.
Steph Curry shots start going in when it looked like it's effortless or Steffortless,
Right.
but it's
Oh, look
it's a
at
lot of
you.
freaking it's a lot of work that go behind that. So you deserve. That's what scale looks like. You know what
Growing and
the
growing.
the the CEO of Louis Vuitton right now is probably not doing the same type of work as they were when they were starting, the brand, or
Right.
when the brand was starting, way beyond them, or when they started working within it. But yeah, that's a testimony to what happens when you do work hard, And if my mom would share this. She said if you um, do the work that you don't get paid for, at one point you'll get paid for work that you don't even do. And so when
Oh,
you put that into that's my mom's bar right there. But nah, but I would just share just there was a revelation, but you epitomize it, in terms of a work ethic. And there are a lot of people watching right now. All of us, there's something we're supposed to be doing that we just don't do, and we're ducking it. Someone is supposed to start their fashion brand empire,
right.
and they ducking it, and they're allowing whatever other situations to prevent them, from doing that. And it's an excuse, and there are a lot of other things.
Oh,
And I
definitely.
found myself in a space where it was like I'm supposed to be doing something. Oh, and I'm ducking it. Like Marcellus, you fading like really hard on that.
Stop
And it
short.
hit me. Yeah, it's a breakthrough discipline code that I remind myself of, and it gets me right at it. And it's these three things. One I heard Mike Tyson say, but he said you have to do what you hate like you love it. And I
Mhm.
know within all that inventory, it might be the shipping, it might be the unpacking, the boxing, it might be the wrong thing sent, and you got to return. It's something going in your line of work, and in our line of work. that we damn near hate to do. And you got
Mhm.
that's what you got to do like you love it.
Right.
Don't nobody wants to clean up a flood and mildew and like ain't nobody trying to be in that type of smoke. But
Never.
you did it like you loved it. You turned into the Evans Construction Company
Right.
2.0, you know, back at it. You know what I'm saying? So do what you hate like you love it. Do what you fear like you're fearless. So we got to call out. We be afraid to do some stuff. You know, we be afraid to call that person because we think that we're going to get rejected. You know, somebody's trying to get into
Marcellus.
Essence Magazine or whatever it is, you know, and you're going to have to do what you fear like you're fearless. And then the last, and it's a little more gangster, but, you know, we need that edge of being hip hop,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
connoisseurs. But kill what you think is killing you like you're a killer. And people
Okay.
can look at a certain situation and be like, "Oh, this is knocking me. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, COVID. You know, I just shut down. If you had a brick and mortar, it's like, what the hell am I supposed to do? The government's telling me I can't work, but I
Right.
do have this mortgage or rent and bills, and you can feel like you're suffocating. You gotta turn that thing around, and you gotta tap into something. Obviously, you tapped into a whole higher power, and you do that. So salute to you, Tracy, because you
Thank
work
you.
hard, hard. There's a game I want to play with you really quick. Oh, we got a
Oh
couple of
Lord.
minutes before we close out. So I'm gonna shoot a game. This is a choose one or name one. So you down,
Okay, let's
Tracy?
go. I'm down. Let's go. Let's see what we
All
got.
right, you down. You down. Down like James Brown in the split, because
I
you the
know.
hardest working fashionista. So no doubt. All right. Your favorite Met Gala 2023 look.
Oh, Carisha and Puffy. Definitely. Hands down.
Okay. What was the
Seen it.
sauce behind
The
that?
reason is like I wasn't looking at it. I didn't even have her on my radar. I didn't even know she was gonna be there, but she stepped in, took the crown. Like, her dress didn't wear her. She looked like, oh, I'm gonna just end it with this. All Black women need is the invite. Just invite us. That's it. We got everything else. We don't need you to school and teach us and show us. Just invite us and watch how we show up. And I think she really surprised everyone with like her selection and how she also looked like she was supposed to be there. So that was like my favorite look experience going down my timeline, seeing her and Diddy. I was just like, wow, this is just a beautiful thing. And more so, it was about her. Wasn't focusing too much on Diddy, but definitely just love how she showed up.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna run through these.
All
Um,
right.
go back in time and shout out to Carisha and her slaying and Diddy in the mix of it. So that's what's up. You got to go back in time to change one. Will it be the Will Smith slap, Mike Tyson losing to Buster Douglas, or the Outcast and Tribe album that was supposed to happen and never happened?
Let's
You got to go back in time to change one.
we'll go back to Outkast and the Tribe album. We need
Oh,
that. Just
okay.
a reference for the culture. But that slap, we're keeping that slap. Because I need y'all to know that Black women can be the most protected out here. That a Black man is willing to risk it all for that Black woman. So as you quote Malcolm X saying, "Oh, the Black woman is the most unprotected, disrespected," back it up to Will Smith and say, "Well, she might be the most protected. There is some Black men that will go to war and risk it all for her." And next question, Marcellus.
Mic drop. Next question. You can bring one of these cities' energies to Jacksonville. Duval. Would it be
Ooh.
Atlanta, Miami, or New York?
Atlanta. I love the culture there. I love the people
Mm.
there. I love the togetherness there. I love how they support each other. I love how other nationalities support them there. Sometimes within our community here down south, we hear so much about, that Jewish dollar, how long it stays in, the Jewish community, but we never talk about how
Mm.
long the white dollar stays in the white community. And with this George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, it just renewed like that conversation. I had so many customers, and I'm so thankful to so many of the women higher up at Essence Magazine, relationships I created there. Julie, She's now at Cosmopolitan. She posted us, and I had Caucasian customers reaching out saying like they had never shopped at a Black owned business at all. And because culturally they just shop within their own. So like within our culture, Black people, there's just certain things we do culturally. Like there's certain foods that we eat, but when it comes to shopping, we shop outside of our culture. But in other nationalities, they don't. Like it's certain foods that they eat, and then it's also certain habits that they have where they shop, where they go, they do different things of that nature. So I would definitely bring that togetherness. I love the way that Black people are treated. I love the way they feel in Atlanta. So I would bring that to Jacksonville.
No doubt. ATL. Okay. Going through these real quick. So give me that one word. I'm gonna skate through it rapid fire style. Only one brand can stay in your closet. Gucci, Louis, Louboutins, or Birkin?
I'll take the Birkin. The investment is crazy.
Okay.
All right, one word. Well, let me just say one word. I know it's one word. You can buy a Birkin for 12, walk out the store and resell it for 24,000. We're going with Birkin. All right.
Hustle mindset. Return. Okay. One Black-owned designer brand that deserves way more credit.
Way more credit. Let's see. A lot of them are receiving credit now. Let me dig deep. Let me see if there's old or new. Marcellus, I'm trying to make sure that
it could be either current, back in the day. Somebody is like, we need to make sure we recognize them.
That we Patrick Kelly. Well, I would probably say, and it has to be a brand. Why am I skating over that? Why am I trying to make sure? I don't know.
You're friends with so many of them, and you are the ultimate designer.
Because I don't want to.
You get one pass. You get one pass.
One pass. Sorry, I'm pass
granted. Okay, no more passes.
No more
living on a stranded island for 5 years. Give me one old school and one new school rap album. Okay. That you can only play. You can only have one.
Old school. Okay, so old school. I'm gonna take Above the Rim soundtrack so I can get a variety of my artists there. Got a little West Coast with Snoop Dogg, and then you got Tupac. And new school, I'm taking the Renaissance. Let's go, Beyonce.
Okay, got it. The hottest look to buy from Meow Barks Boutique this weekend.
This weekend, the hottest look. We have a new 2-piece set dropping this Saturday. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is every single thing. Women like size small through large. On this one, large fits up to a women's 16. It's our, I don't have the exact name because y'all, I have not even named it yet. But when I tell you I wore it past 2 days in Miami, so I'm still trying to get the feel of what it should be named. But so many compliments on this 2-piece set. So I would definitely suggest checking us out, meowbarksboutique.com. Every Saturday, 10 a.m., we're coming with new arrivals. So please check us out.
Love it. Meow Barks Boutique, Instagram, all social media platforms, and definitely meowbarksboutique.com. So let me ask you, last question. What's your final, message to, those people watching that in their heart know they want to build a fashion brand empire like you have?
I would definitely say go for it. Trial and error. Don't give up. If you have like that envision, you know what your envision is. You just got to get there. Put in the work and you'll get there. You'll be surprised. But going back to the question I passed on, the reason that I passed on it because I didn't know if I wanted to speak in reference to the uprise of like hip hop and fashion when we had some of the street brands, which are now gone away. It's kind of like I want to kind of bring that back because we were definitely shopping Black during that era. But then you have other great designers that started out in the beginning that, we no longer hear about. So that's where I was just kind of up and added about like, I'm not more so a designer I want to bring back, is just more so an era where we were shopping Black and it wasn't tagged shopping Black. Like I would love to have that again, where we're just shopping just because we see something and we love it and it's by our people. That's the reason why we love it. And so during that time, they didn't have to tell us shop black. We just did it. So that's where I was on that question.
Talk about the Renaissance. Very
Right.
much that Harlem Renaissance, that
Yes, that 90s was
ATL to
Kamora, that
J-Ville
baby fat.
Renaissance.
Right. We had
All
the baby
right.
fat. Y'all was rocking the FUBU with the I never
Mm-hmm.
understood the Fat Albert thing, but y'all did it. And hey, you know, FUBU had that Fat Albert thing. It all felt good. It's like Bill Cosby, blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
black people, blah, blah, blah. So it's just to feel good. So that's what I was kind of trying to figure out there. But
I
thank
got a
you so
Cross
much
Colors
for your
hoodie not too
story.
long ago. Cross Colors, they've come back and they've been distributed, I think, in Champs. Yeah, so that's
Definitely.
yeah,
And Carl
we had
Kanai, he was up there.
Carl
I remember
Kanai.
I was like, because he's still doing great work now. He still produces lines.
Yes,
He
he
had
is.
a collaboration with Pretty Little Things. And I see like internationally, he does like a lot of things. So, and I remember like the iconic pic with Tupac with the Carl Kanai beanie on. I don't know if you remember, he had on the trouser, the overall with the striped shirt. So I would probably say going back to Carl Kanai, because even though we had cross color, I can't identify the owners of cross color. I can't tell you how they look, but if I walk past Carl Kanai, I know him. You know, I know his face. So
Mm-hmm.
I would go back and say Carl Kanai. Sorry about that.
Word. Salute Carl Kanai. That's what's up. And lastly, you get these visions. Do you have the vision, the end as you speak, you know, beginning with the end in mind? Do you have the beginning of the end in mind for the greatest line designer brand to emerge, and that will be your own
Yes.
Tracy, the Al Barks Boutique? Dare we say, and Amanda in the mix of it. Have you seen that vision?
Yes, and had that vision for so long, but just kind of danced around it because I just knew like it's there. But I think it's time. For the past 2 years, we've done some things independently under Meow and Barks boutique. But as far as like my name and that signature piece or that signature dress that you can wear so many different ways, that is coming out soon. So we're hoping to have a sample out by Essence Fest so we can debut it there. But if not, this fall, that dress will be up and available to you. And the things that you can do with that dress just sums up Black girl magic, how we can take the best and make things greater. It's just everything. So I'm really excited about that.
Wow, something to look forward to. That is going to be
Definitely.
everything. But Tracy, you already are everything. So
Oh,
as
thank
I
you,
love to
Mike.
share, the race is already won. All you got to do is run it. And if you not the baddest track fashionista on this field, I don't know who is. So salute to you,
Thank
Tracy.
you.
Everyone, follow Meow Bars Boutique. Ladies, it is the treat. You know, make sure you enjoy it to the fullest. All your occasions, your summer vacay coming up, she got you taken care of to the fullest. And Tracy, thank you so much. This has been a dynamic conversation, and you indeed own it. And everyone watching, you own it too.
Thank
Peace.
you. And